everyone, welcome to Infigon Talks. My name is Vaibhavi and I will be the host for today's interview. And as you know, Infigon Talks is a part of Infigon Future's flagship program where mentors from various institutes motivate and inspire aspiring students across the country. And today we have with us Ms. Arun Dudeja.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Arun is currently So, just introducing you to our viewers, Mr. Arun is currently working as a program manager in Microsoft and has pursued his MBA from IIM-Lucknow. So, welcome, Mr. Arun, to Infigon Talks.
Thank you, Vaibhavi. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to dive into questions and get some valuable guidance for you. So let's start. As you know, IIM is a dream of every MBA aspirant, and you of course experienced it so closely. So tell us more about your journey and experience in IIM Lucknow.
Yeah, so it was a really good experience at IML. So a lot of things to learn. So I learned a lot of things apart from academics. So there are plenty of things. So one of the key learning which I will think is like to prioritizing, which I learned at IML. So when I joined IML, so there will be plenty of things like there will be case competition, there will be club committees, there will be ample of things. So at first I try to participate in every thing at there, but I then realized so prioritizing is the key which I learned, and it was a really great experience, getting a lot of opportunities, lot of experience, and yeah, it was a very good experience overall.
Great. Also, scoring 99 percentile in CAT is really a very big achievement. We would really like to hear how you prepared, what were your strategies, how did you balance your work and studies, which is the main thing I feel.
To start with, I will tell. So I gave CAT twice. So the first year I gave CAT, so I scored around 95 percentile. So then I reattempted. So it was a really good experience for me also. So I was not having like any like my friends or seniors who have done this, so to get guidance or like more about this. So that's why I was more interested in this talk also to tell about my experience. So when I gave my CAT in the first attempt, so I did a very good practice. So I gave a lot of mocks. So that is the there are two things when we prepare for CAT. So one is like knowing the concepts, how to like all the topics you should be aware, and then next part is strategizing. So you should be able to strategize like how to give a mock. When there will be a CAT, so there are like 3 hours and you can't do all the question, and you have to prioritize and like see which question to attempt first and which to leave. So like leaving question is a very important key, like which you will see and leave. So when during my first attempt, so I was scoring very good in mocks also, but when I applied for like college, I was not much aware. So the last month of when CAT was approaching, I was more very busy in like filling the forms, like learning about colleges. So at that point of time, I like made a mistake and I regretted a lot that I have to give CAT one more year. So because my last 1.5 months went in just knowing about the colleges and all. So when I gave the next CAT attempt, I was very sure like I have to apply for this college and like this will be my target. So I was very focused, and then again I like revised my concepts. So that was a part one, revising concept, and then like giving a lot of mocks. So when you give mocks, so you actually come to know like which question you have to set, which topics you are strong on. So it is like more of a strategy, or like 3 hours you have, and you have to make a strategy. Like there will be question you will have a look and which to attempt, which to leave. So it is very like a very good experience of like preparing for CAT also.
That's so motivating, and surely it will boost the morale. All the viewers who are watching us right now, great. I think CAT is not the only thing which is required to get into good institutes for MBA. Interviews also play a key role. So, how was your interview experience while applying for institute?
Yeah, right. That definitely that after like preparing cracking CAT, so then the interviews part will come, and then you have to prepare for that again. So you can't prepare for an interview completely because interview can go in any direction. So there is not like a definitely I joined coaching institute during my first year. I had a full time coaching institute, but my second attempt I did it on my own. So because I was having a fair idea like how CAT will be and how it's being interviewed. So the first time was completely new, so it went how like that. So second time I was aware. So but interviews you can't prepare. So you can go about like having general knowledge, like what is going in the country, like everything you can be aware of. But when you give interviews, so you have to be very confident, like but you know. So and Talking about my IIM-Lucknow interviews only specifically when I gave, so I was not at all sure that I will crack this, because when I gave interview, I thought like I have messed it up. But it's not like thing. Their interviews you are judging, you have to give your best, and they will ask things. So particularly about IIM-Lucknow interview, it was a very stress interview for me. So they tried to question a lot, like what is your key thing you have done apart from academy. So it was they were asking only apart from academy what they have done, and so it was a very stress interview. And I was thinking that it is going wrong, but at the end when I got a admission, so I was like this, there is not a specific path for interview, just you have to be like confident in your what you have done, just to be ready. So there are basic questions why you are going to do MBA, so this will be definitely a best, like a very good question, so you can like have a very strong reason that why you are doing MBA. Because I think at the, so this is the thing which I observed. So when they are asking question in interview, they are actually seeing that whether you are just like you have a real goal of that doing MBA. So when you will come into MBA college, you will get placed also, and you will benefit the MBA students as a networking part. So these are the two things which they look for interview, that you deserve the seat in college, that you will benefit others also, and that you will be able to go for better job, and you will easily crack interviews also further. So that is the thing I think they are looking.
Amazing, amazing. Also, you have done your BTech in IT, that is information technology, and you have also worked in TCS, Cognizant, and Wink Music as a software developer. So, what encouraged you to choose MBA after that? Because all these areas are tech related.
Yeah, so specifically about my TCS job, so it was related to business intelligence reporting. So at that time, I used to interact with stakeholders like business managers. So at that time, became very interested in like doing this MBA part, because I used to interact with my managers and they used to take decisions and all the business related. So I wanted to move to that line where I will be in a state to like know about the business impact and like what are the company planning to do in a long term. So I developed interest at that point of time while working for TCS. I worked for TCS in 2 years. So I developed an interest in MBA at that time, like when I will go for higher education and get into a manager role. So I will also be able to see what a company is planning, how they are looking at the things forward. So that's why I got very motivated to do MBA, and I started preparing while my job. So I was working also, and I was preparing for the like CAT.
Amazing. And you have really balanced your work and cat so well. So great. Currently, you are working as a program manager in Microsoft. So tell us more about your role there.
So yeah, I've been working. So it is like a program manager role. So we have been like I'm working on a product. So like, and we are like doing planning on it, like how to launch it, when the product will come, and like how to prioritize the features. So this become very important, like to involve every stakeholder. So this is particularly my role, like having a good communication with all the stakeholders, having them on board, like having the priorities, timelines, like this will be the shipping period. So this is more of a like deciding role on a path, like how to work on a product and like a complete ownership. So it is a very exciting journey for me. Like I've recently joined, and yeah, so it is really amazing to work on this now. And just adding to one more
So
point, so
tell us
you
more
asked
about
earlier
your,
also. Yes, yes. So sorry to
yeah,
interrupt. So adding on to that point, so while I was working in TCS, so yeah, I saw many of my friends who were like very confused, that because while we are working, so we get confused a lot that whether we should go for like job and whether we should focus on CAT, because after working 9 hours in office, you don't have much energy to go and practice for like competitive exam. So, but I made it very clear from the day when I started my, like I joined an institute. So I spent 2 3 months like deciding whether I want to do or not. When I decided, so I joined a coaching institute on a daily basis. Like I went for morning coaching daily. So I had it very clear that I will daily give 2 to 3 hours, like knowing about the concepts and all. So I never after that thought that I want to go back to my job only. So many of my friends who were very good in like CAT creating, but they were confused like whether to go for job, like they will get better opportunity on job. So I think that is the what I want to recommend to everyone, that make it clear while you are working on job. Like you can't have it both. Like I will do good in job also, and like I will do like any competitive exam also. So I think that worked for me, like because from very beginning I was very focused that whatever happens in office, like I'm very focused on this competitive exam. This is my priority one. So I was never confused that I have to go back to my like that position of software engineer I'm working on. So it was very clear. So that helped me.
That's very commendable, and as you said, having a crystal clear idea is very important. Yes, so yeah. So going back to your work experience, you have worked in TCS, Cognizant, and Wing Music, as I said before. So tell us more about that experience as well. Any tips and suggestions you would like to give?
I joined like as a software engineer, like coding. I used to enjoy work in coding also, like working on IT part. So that's why I started with IT company. So I started with Bing Music and then I joined TCS. So while working with like my role became changed because I worked with managers in TCS like about the reporting part. So I used to work on reporting, like generating reports and giving to them. So when they got reports, so then they used to make decisions. So I was always thinking that I am able to make these reports also, so I should be also in the position of that. So that was also very interesting, that IT part, working on the IT journey. So still now when I'm working in like as a program manager, because I'm having a IT touch, I always like, if there is any technical discussion going on, I always want like to jump into that, and because get into the like designing part, like the coding part. So that is always with me, because whatever you have a background, it is always an edge, like whether it is IT or any like finance, if you are having. So many managers working that they don't have IT experience, but they have some other experience. So there is always a plus point. So I am more inclined still to the IT part also, working in a, despite working in a program manager role. But like now it is not a coding job, like I don't have to code, but it's out of interest, like I want to see into that. So that's also a plus point for me, and I enjoyed that part also.
Also, as through this platform, as you know, we are talking about overall experiences. So, what one change would you like to see in our education system if you had a chance?
So particularly this thing when I learned in MBA, when I joined MBA and I was applying for colleges. So till in our whole education, like we are focused on academics a lot, like score 90% above 95%. So this was the only thing which we had in mind that. But when I started applying for MBA college, I noticed that they will ask, what apart from this 95% you have done, like you have scored 95% in 12th, but tell me what else you have done. So that was a thing, like we didn't give much focus to sports and any other things. So at that point, I realized that when you have played at national level, sport like state level, so that becomes very important. So like many people like leave that out, like I have to focus on studies, and they just drop these things. They might be good in anything like singing, guitar, and so these make a very good impact, because at the end it is all about networking. So when you will go into MBA, it is only about networking. Like when you get into, so that is the only difference when you enter tier 1 college or any other college. When you get into IIMs, so there will be all people coming from very good brands, and you will get a chance to interact with them and develop good relation with them. That will stand out. And these are the very good things if you are having a interest in like any sports or anything. So it becomes very easy, because whenever someone will ask you in an interview, they want like, or any general discussion in office, they won't ask like how much you score in 12th. They will just ask like what else you are doing, like whether. So it becomes very like a key point, and this thing people will remember, and networking it becomes much easier. So I think so when we talk about our education system, so there should be a lot more focus on these things also, like anything which is like apart from academics also. Academics is a must. I don't say that you should not sport. Academics is a must, but apart from that, you should have a key thing which you can stand out, which makes you stand out. So if someone asks you, tell me one thing which makes you stand out, so definitely scoring 90% in 10th and 12th won't be that thing. So it has to be something else.
Definitely. Lastly, any advice or suggestions for our viewers or the youth who is watching us right now?
So that will be a thing. So don't be confused. First one will be that if you have a goal, so spend time like deciding whether I want to go for civil services, I want to go for like CAT or GRE, GMAT. Make a like good decision once you have decided. So just keep a very good focus and give daily time for that, and like don't leave it in between. So never get confused. If you like, there were many times. So preparing for any exam is not very easy. Like it's not a 1 week or 2 week. So it takes about 5 6 months. So there will be a time set in a like giving a mock test, you will score less than 90% or 90%, and then you will think my job was better. So you should there are many downfalls. Like when you are preparing for competitive, it is not like that you will give first mock test and you will score 99 percentile. So it is not like that. So it is a gradual process, and you have to keep faith in you are investing like a 5 6 months in any preparing for any exam or any like a career. So be very focused in that. And as I said before, CAT, this is a particular advice that when you are preparing, get a good like a knowledge of concepts. Once you are very good in concepts, second thing is like prioritizing. When you see a paper, so you should be aware like which to pick and leave. So leaving becomes very important, like which question I should leave. You can't attempt all the question. So just because it gets on ego when you see a question and you have attempted for 5 minutes, and then you will think like I have invested 5 minutes, just give 2 minutes more. So it comes on ego. So you have to let that ego go. If you think that this is going out of like time, you should leave that question. So that becomes very leaving becomes very important. Prioritizing, it's the key for anything. I think that is the biggest learning I will like to share, which I've learned so far.
Great. And personally, one thing that I have learned from you is consistency and how focused you are. And that's really very inspiring and motivating. So thanks a lot, Mr. Arun, to join us today. It was such a great experience to have you here with us. So yeah, with this, see you next time with another informative interaction of an expert. Let me conclude with those three magical words: like, share, and subscribe to Infigon Talks.
Yeah, thank you, Avi.